You're listening to the Career Jump Podcast. Insights, interviews, and success stories to inspire and give you the edge when you make your next career jump. Hosted by your career concierge, Andrew MacAskill.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Executive Career Jump Podcast. I'm your career concierge and host, Andrew MacAskill. We've had a load of people asking us recently about the recruitment ecosystem. Everything from the difference between recruiters and headhunters to how people can get more out of their recruitment relationships. And so with that in mind, there was only one man that I thought of in terms of who we could get on to talk to us about this topic. So we're really lucky to be joined by James Osborne today. Full disclosure, know James very, very well. I'm a previous customer of TRM, which is a fantastic network in recruitment that he founded and headed up. But he's also been a recruitment trainer. He's also ran recruitment businesses, sat on various recruitment boards. So thanks so much for giving up your time, James, and great to reconnect.
Yeah, absolutely great to see you as always, Andy. Great to see you.
So just first and foremost, tell us what the last 18 months sitting in the epicenter of the recruitment ecosystem has been like for you.
Wow. Okay. I'll try and summarize it in a short space if I can. I think the last 18 months have been fascinating. I think that's the only way to describe it. It's gone from right at the beginning of the pandemic, a bit sort of like what the hell is going on. And we all got sent home like naughty school children to try and figure out how to run businesses in a completely different dynamic. It took about 3 or 4 months for many recruitment businesses and owners to sort of figure out how to sort of function in that thing. Got to the back end of last year, got really, really busy, like really super busy. The recruitment market was starting to boom. And ever since the beginning of this year, it's been absolutely relentless. I mean, it's just incredible at the moment. So it's an incredibly busy, noisy marketplace. The interesting thing, however, I think it's, and I'm not a fan of global pandemics. I want to put that as a statement straight away. But what this has done for the recruitment sector, I think is actually really, really fascinating and actually very exciting as well.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us more about that. What do you think it's resulted on in terms of, the sector evolving?
I use this expression sort of backs against the wall mentality, which is, when you start a business up for the very first time, you've got this feeling of, I've got no cash in the bank. I've invested my life savings into running my own company, etc. So I've got to make quick decisions. I've got to make the right decisions. And I've got to do things that actually I think probably are the only way to make my business move forward quickly. So I think what's happened is even businesses that have been going for 20, 25 years have suddenly had to go back to that entrepreneurial mindset last year, backs against the wall and make some serious decisions. What that's done is just reminded a lot of us that a lot of things that we used to do and how we ran our businesses was just really stupid. I mean, there's no way to describe it. My business included, we were doing stuff and you think like, well, why did I bother doing that? Why would I travel for an equivalent of 48 hours to have a 2-hour meeting with someone when actually, do you know what? I can have 6 2-hour meetings with people in one day on a Zoom call, living in my spare room or working from a shed in the garden. So, for me, there's lots of things that have changed now. And I think we've become a lot more aware of what makes sense, what works in a business and what doesn't work in a business. We were forced to do it. And I think the great thing about it is we've learned some really new habits and some new lessons, which I think we're going to be taking forward from here. Yeah.
And personally, I don't know your view, but, recruitment bashing's been very popular for many years online. And the industry is, it's always took a bashing, sometimes fairly, sometimes completely unfairly. But as a whole, what I saw from recruiters, recruitment business owners, etc., during the last 2 years, I think it's been absolutely tremendous in terms of how they stepped up and served the broader community and the candidate pools and, just really stood up during the pandemic. I don't know if you saw the same with your members, but I think it's been brilliant.
100%. I think every industry gets bashing, right? There's always a degree of bashing in some industry, and you can find any industry for that. The challenge with recruitment is if you've got to look at it as an industry, we're sort of in a really interesting sort of quandary, I suppose. On one side, we're doing the right thing by people. We're helping them find jobs, forwarding their career. I see it as a transformational industry. So we really do make an impact on people's lives. But there's the other side of it, which is the commercial side. So when we do that, we make money. And some people seem to have a bit of an issue with that actually the more placements we make, the more money we're making. Is that right? Well, it is right, because actually that's the incentive for us to do a better job as an industry. I think, and over the years, that's just been the reality of it. Some people don't like that. I think the way I saw the industry respond was outstanding. I think that's the only way to describe it. That's not across the board. There's always some pockets of people who are playing the game a little bit because they had the opportunity to do so. And you get that in every industry, as I said. But the response was absolutely phenomenal from the industry. The recruitment sector is a bit of a flag bearer for most economies. We sort of, when the recruitment companies start going very quiet, then you realize there's a problem with the economy about to happen, sort of stuff. When recruitment companies get really busy, you know the economy is booming again. So, we're seeing that at the moment. We're almost like a flag bearer for what's going to happen over the next 90 days, sort of 6 months, etc. And I think, we've done an amazing job as an industry, and that's the royal we, of really supporting our clients. Yes, we've been trying to make money. Don't get me wrong. We're business owners trying to survive as well, but really supporting candidates. And I think one of the things that is absolutely true is that recruiters, and I think probably because of things like this and Zoom and everything else, we've got so much closer to people, our clients and our candidates. And when you get that close to people, you really start understanding what people are going through. You really start being truly empathetic and truly authentic. And that's wonderful. There's a lot of recruitment business leaders now, recruiters out there, who really have a genuine interest to make a difference to their candidates' lives. They're not stupid enough to think they're not going to make money out of that, but they definitely are now putting their candidates' lives at the front. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's really, really wonderful.
Well, I think the ones who do that should make unlimited amounts of money out of that. That's alignment.
Well, it is, but it's a long-term game, right? And you think, we've just gone through a downturn, in essence, a very, very quick V-shaped downturn, and it's super quick for that matter. So there was a period when, it was about survival and we had to make cash. And some business owners literally were at the right at the bottom of their cash flow. So there was a short-term mentality, which I've got to survive. I do need money coming in. There were some people, though, who played a very nice long game and said, look, I'm just going to be with you through this process. I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't know what it's going to look like at the other end, but let's just work together and get through this somehow. And when we come out the other end, hey, let's hopefully do some business together. Those ones are doing really well right now. They're winning really interesting contracts. They're building really strong partnership relationships with their client base, and they've got a very loyal candidate base. And I think that's really important.
Yeah. No, relationships are forged in that kind of adversity, aren't they? So that makes perfect sense. I love your point about recruitment being a bit kind of a leading indicator in terms of the economy. I always think that rec to recs are actually the number one leading indicator, because when the recruiters are recruiting, that means that good times are coming. And from talking to most of the rec to recs, I think they're all absolutely going gangbusters, aren't they?
There are currently more jobs advertised on LinkedIn for recruiters than there are for software developers.
There you go.
So there you go. So I think it's something like 367,000 recruiter jobs that currently advertised on LinkedIn. So yeah, if you're a rec to rec right now, you're stacked, you're flat out busy. The challenge, like with any market, is candidate shortages at the moment and skill shortages. I don't see necessarily there's a skill shortage, by the way. I just see that basically we need to be better at finding these people and unearthing them, which is all part of the recruitment process. And, we've got this whole thing about, what's going to happen in September, October, after the summer holidays and furlough and everything else. Is this going to be this mass resignation that everyone's talking about? The papers are playing it up a little bit, but, there is going to be a bit of movement. We know that as well, sort of stuff. So the rec to recs are flat out busy. Recruiters are flat out busy and that thing. And, I think that creates, great opportunities for job seekers at the moment. Yeah,
no, I hope that will be the case. So one question we get a lot is the difference between recruitment consultants and headhunters. Is it just semantics, or do you think they are actually different models that candidates need to be aware of? And if they are different, how should they engage differently?
Yeah, used to be completely different. Now it's identical. So the way the industry runs at the moment, if you look at the recruitment market, you can break it up. You've got sort of contingent recruitment, and then you've got this high-end executive search, headhunting, whatever you want to call it. The reality is most contingent recruitment businesses now and recruiters have to do headhunting in order to be able to find candidates. That's just the reality. What is headhunting in its purest sense is basically getting on the phone when nobody's around, talking to someone and saying, I've got an opportunity, are you interested? No, it's no more complex than that, really. And yes, obviously the Shreks of this world and that type of stuff add 35% margin to that and make it incredibly complicated. But the reality is that's what it is. So no, if you're a job seeker, no difference at all. You need to be listening and engaging with recruiters and headhunters, because they give you a great insight into the markets. They are your pathway, to finding opportunities. And the really interesting thing as well is they are incentivized to place you. I mean, that's how they make money. That's how a recruitment company makes money. There's nothing wrong with that. So, if you're working with these people, and you build a good, strong relationship with a recruiter or a couple of recruiters, then, they're incentivized to get you into the market and get you into a new job. And, that's great, so they're working for you. But there's no difference. Headhunting's the same, really.
No, thank you for clearing that up. You've got your own agent, basically, who doesn't take a cut from you. That's the service that you're getting if you get in with the good ones. For sure. Now, getting in with the good ones is tricky. And a lot of people ask us, how can I build better relationships with recruiters and recruiter companies, be a candidate of choice for them, stay front of mind? I think all too often you kind of fall into this painful phone call scenario where the candidate phones up and says, "Oh, hi, just checking in. Anything going on your end? Anything, all of that sort of stuff." And they don't feel like they're getting as much traction as they could be. And recruiters get a lot of volume, right? So what's your thoughts if you were to reverse engineer it for job seekers in terms of how they can get more traction with recruitment companies?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that there's a whole, and I keep using this word a lot at the moment, and maybe I'm overusing it, I'm not sure, but there's a whole empathy thing going on at the moment. And I think that's really, really important. I talk a lot about in business development, when you're talking about sales plans and sales strategies, about empathy and empathetic selling. And I think, for me, any relationship to work properly, as it should be, you need to empathize with the different parties. So a recruiter needs to empathize with what a job seeker is going through. They're conscious of the fact it's a really important decision process for them. It could fundamentally change their life. There's other people it will affect, etc. So recruiters need to make sure they're communicating effectively with their job seekers, getting back to them, giving them feedback. That's hard when you've got thousands of job seekers talking to you. When you haven't got as many, which is in the current marketplace, then we should be spending more time working closely with our candidates, with the job seekers. But on the flip side, the job seekers also need to play the same game as well. And I think, I've seen examples, you see it on LinkedIn and social media and that type of stuff, where you get sort of a bit of recruitment bashing going on because the job seeker hasn't been dealt with in the way that they wanted to be dealt with. You've got to empathize with what a recruiter has to go through every single day. They have targets to hit. They have hundreds of people reaching out to them. They've got clients knocking on their door all the time. And it is tough for them to be able to engage with you properly. So the better a job seeker can be with the relationship with their recruiter, I think they've got far more chance. And that means, to me, being honest about where you're up to, keeping the recruiter up to date as much as the recruiter keeping you up to date. Pushing back with them, but giving them insights as well. Recruiters are here to try and help you find jobs. So give them insights of the types of work that you're looking for, types of clients you like to go for. We often ask the question, who else have you been interviewing with? Of course, we're asking that because it's lead generation and opportunity for us to win a bit of business. But it does also help us understand the types of roles you're looking for and where we can put you out as well. So let's just be honest about it. We know what we're here to do. We know what recruiters are here to do. We're not what job seekers here to do. Let's empathize with each other and build a partnership relationship rather than I'm trying to work for you or you're trying to work for me. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, I love that advice. That's where trust comes from, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. And it's tough sometimes, right? Because, there are, as we talked about right from the beginning here, you will get one or two bad eggs who, will ghost you or do all the stuff that we don't like and that type of stuff. It happens in any relationship, in any business relationship. But the reality is, if you find a good recruiter, stay close to them, they will want to help you. And they do get this point that it is about, where I place you next, where I can help you place you next, it's going to change your life. That's the reality of it. Every job you take sends you on a new path, a pathway of some description. That is pretty massive stuff when you think about it. The importance of that is huge. It's absolutely huge. And I think recruiters get that. I think job seekers need to understand that recruiters do get that as well.
Yeah. And when you're recruiting for SMEs, I always used to get great pleasure out of knowing that we were helping those founders bring their own visions to life as well through the people that we were placing.
Oh, massively. Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's what our industry does, right? There's not one organization in the world that can achieve its strategic goals without people. And we are a catalyst part of that. We're not the only way of doing that. There's obviously, you can do it yourself, as company owners and everything else. And I recommend to company owners, one of the first things to say before you're using a recruiter, have you really done the best possible job you can do yourself? In most instances, a recruiter is there to support you to do a better job. They know that, but there's no doubt about it that, we place a candidate, we help a company find a great bit of talent. That's going to change that business's fortune, and you look at some of the stuff that's going on at the moment. I mean, the companies at the moment who are on serious growth plans, they're hiring hundreds and hundreds of people in one go, not sort of like 2 or 3 people, hundreds of people. They're not going to get a result, an ROI for all that funding they've just got and everything else, unless they've got the best talent in their businesses. That's the reality.
Absolutely the reality.
Hey everybody, it's Andrew here. Just wanted to very briefly interrupt this podcast episode to tell you a little bit more about our Career Jump Club. So our Career Jump Club was created to help job seekers understand what they want and how to get it, right? So becoming a club member is a great move if you're looking to get the clarity and confidence in order to secure your next role. With the membership, you get a number of different things. So first thing you get is access to our online platform, which has over 30 videos, 40, 50 different templates, workbooks, and it takes you through everything from sort of understanding what you want to how to position your CV and LinkedIn, how to interview, how to close offers and negotiate better salaries, a full end-to-end job search course effectively for senior leaders. So you get that, you get a fortnightly group coaching call which is with me and with the other members, where we bounce around best practice, share slide decks, share techniques, and share the latest data on what's working for people. And you get to, most importantly, become part of our closed LinkedIn group and our closed community. And in there is where the magic often happens, because you get people referring each other into opportunity, supporting each other, and just sharing. And that's what it's all about. So if you're financially able and you'd like to invest in your job search, head on over to www.execcareerjump.com, all one word, /club. And you'll find the landing page and come and give it a go. We'll see you in there. Anyway, back to the pod.
You mentioned LinkedIn earlier. You've managed to build a good following on there and have been active via that and other channels. What's your thoughts in terms of the importance of personal branding for individuals in the marketplace?
Whenever I go on holiday somewhere, I'm one of those guys that sits in the cafe for about 2 hours just staring and watching people. I find it fascinating. The last 18 months in particular, I've been doing a lot of that, just watching people on social media and how people are responding. I think it's amazing. I think it's fascinating. Now, everyone's got an opinion right now. Everyone's an expert in medical science and business and just about everything in the economy, just about everything else, and that's fine. And politics, that matter as well. But, the reality is all these social media platforms allow us to have a much, much wider network of people that we can engage with in some format or can assist and support us in some format. So I think it's absolutely brilliant. I don't like negativity. I'm not a negative person, you know that. I like to be optimistic and positive about everything. Even if I'm not, I'm still going to be positive about it, because I think that's just the right way to wake up in the morning. So, I don't like negativity on social media. I like people who are just generally there to try and help and make a difference. Do I have an issue with things like LinkedIn have become a bit more like Facebook these days? And people are posting pictures of their dogs and their holidays and everything else? I actually think it's quite good, especially right now, if you look at the moment, summer holidays, people are off on holiday, we're posting pictures of them on holiday. I think it's reminding other people that it's okay as a boss to take a break type stuff. That's a good message. That's a good business message. Why not put it on LinkedIn? So I think it's brilliant. I don't live on social media. I spend a lot of time on it, generally in between meetings and, in the mornings and that type of stuff. I found that from a business point of view, I would say 60% of our business comes through social media activity that we do. It's brilliant from that perspective. I think from a networking point of view, I've met some of the most incredible people over the last couple of years just through LinkedIn, in particular LinkedIn actually. And they're people that I probably would never do business with, but actually there's something in common that's been really useful. They've shared some ideas. I've shared some ideas back. I think it's been great from that point of view. So I'm a big fan of it, huge fan. I don't think people invest enough time in it. I don't think people really, the time they do invest, I don't think they do the right stuff on it sometimes. And I think there's so many, and I look at a lot of people's personal brands. I look at a lot of company websites and everything else and how they position themselves. And it's sort of like, you could do a hell of a lot better than this, and that. But they sort of dabble at it a little bit. And then they go, well, it doesn't really work for me. It's not really, well, that's because you're not really putting the effort into it or the strategy into it, I don't think.
Yeah, I tried running for 2 days and I'm still not in shape type analogy, is it?
Can you tell? I lost my six pack there.
No, not at all. You're doing well. Talk to us about business ownership. What's the pros and cons of running your own thing?
Wow. It's been a good one over the last 18 months in particular. So I love running my own business. I love leading a business. It's the most inspirational thing I've ever done. It's the stuff that you wake up in the morning and you positively feel that you're making a difference and moving forward in some description, which to me is hugely exciting. I think I think the last 18 months, a lot of business owners have realized how tough it is. And a lot of business owners have been really scarred actually by the whole process. They've had to rise up to the challenge. They've had to really dig deep, but it's been a really, really hard slog for a lot of business owners. So I think a lot of business owners have realized that over the last sort of 12 to 18 months, but I don't think there's anything better than running your own business, making your own future, designing a business strategy, structure, culture that is the one that you want to have and that type of stuff. And I absolutely love it. I think there's a lot of entrepreneurialism coming out of COVID. A lot of new businesses are being set up all the time at the moment, not just in recruitment, but outside of that and subsidiary to that and everything else. So I think running your own business, being an entrepreneur is one of the most wonderful things that you can do. I don't think it's as hard as people think, just by the way, and that's probably the completely wrong thing. And I maybe I need to go and read all those business books that we all bought when we set up and that type of stuff. And maybe I was wrong, but it's hard in the sense of it's a journey and you have sleepless nights every night and all that sort of stuff. But it's not hard in the sense of if you really love what you do, then running your own business actually is fairly second nature because it's just what you do. And I'm a workaholic, I think is the expression. I work in the middle of the night. I get up, every weekend I'm online. Holidays, I'll be online next week when I'm on holiday and that type of stuff. It's because I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I don't see that as a chore. And I think when you get to that point in business, when doing what you do, you really, really love it, genuinely love it, not because it feels good on social media, but because you actually genuinely do love it, then it's not really work, you know. And that whole thing about work-life balance, you know, should we work 7 hours and have 12 hours off? No, not at all. Work as much as you like if you love it. That's not a problem.
Exactly right. I think there's a lot of talk about burnout, obviously, which can be a serious issue, and we all need to be cognizant of our energy levels. But I don't think you burn out doing something that you find meaning in. I think you burn out doing lots of stuff that you don't find meaning in. So that's where it comes from.
I've got a lot of opinions about mental well-being, mental resilience, and burnout and stress, and that comes with it. You know, I'm absolutely convinced that burnout comes from disengagement. If you spend your life doing lots and lots of hours of stuff that you don't enjoy doing and you're disengaged by, then I think you're going to burn out. I mean, I absolutely would. However, if you're doing something you absolutely love, you can do it 24/7 and you still won't get tired of it. And I don't consider that to be stressful or burning out. So I think it's a very different, the whole burnout thing and the mental well-being, mental resilience thing is really fascinating at the moment. And there's a lot of people, I think, who've got a slightly misskewed understanding of what mental resilience actually could be and what it should be. And to me, it's a positive thing. You know, we've all taken a bit of a hit. We've all been a bit beaten up a little bit. I totally understand that, some more than others. And I have huge empathy for those who had a really, really tough time. But the reality is we learn from this, we build on this. It's like, you know, running in the Olympics or whatever, but you get knocked down, you get back up again. And it's the ones who bounce higher when they come back are the ones, I think, that not only do better, but also are the ones who actually start building up a greater level of mental strength and resilience. And that's huge, because then you can do stuff with that, which I think is great.
Yeah, you grow from it. 100% you grow from it. Related to burnout, but slightly different topic I was interested to ask you about. In the new world of work, if there is such a thing, the post-COVID world of work, a lot of talk around remote working versus in the office versus hybrid. What are you seeing in recruitment? And just interested to hear your own thoughts in terms of how you're running your own teams and what you think good looks like.
Yeah, up until the end of last year, we had a lovely 3,000 square foot barn conversion. That was our office. It was great. Had all our people in there. I loved it. It was absolutely wonderful. We are now completely work from anywhere as a business. So our staff can work from anywhere in the world, where they like to, don't really mind, totally up to them. I think COVID has taught us that there's the opportunity now to have more flexibility in how we work. You know, I've been working, I used to travel 2 or 3 nights away from home every week pre-COVID. I've seen my family every single day for breakfast and dinner for the last 18 months, you know, and there's no way I'm going to give that up, because it's been wonderful. And actually that's what we live for, right? That's why we work so hard, to be able to spend time with our family. So for me, I'm a big fan of it, of the flexible working. I think, again, if we go back to people's opinions, everyone's got an opinion about it, and everyone's a little bit quite aggressive with some of their opinions sometimes. It's what's right for you and what's right for your business. So if you are going to be a fully work from anywhere remote type business, absolutely superb, wonderful. You've got to make sure, therefore, you've got some real stop gaps and processes in place that allow you to manage things like innovation, culture, teamship, etc. How you're going to onboard graduates and entry-level people when they need that support, and etc. So as long as you have a plan for that, then absolutely superb. There's nothing wrong with it. Vice versa, if you want to bring everyone back into your office full time, absolutely superb. Just remember, they're going to be having conversations with their mates who might now be working a 4-day week, or working 2 days from home, or working in a chalet in Spain, sort of stuff. So you've got to be able to balance that and make sure there's incentives for them to be able to do so. The majority of people, it seems, are going to go for the hybrid model. That seems to be the obvious thing to do in this market, which is brilliant. You know, I think we could go back 3 years ago, suggesting that to a recruitment business, let's go hybrid. You go, really? I need to see I want my sales floor. I want one on the floor. But you know, now we can do it. I think we've proven that people can be more productive working from home in some instances. And there are some things that just don't work well. And I think it does affect things like culture and teamship and innovation and creative ideas and coaching. So as long as you can keep those elements, then a hybrid model works really, really well. So I'm a big fan for it, you know, and we've done a lot of podcasts and interviews with people who are heads of remotes for big organizations. We've been doing this for years anyway. So the whole, when the pandemic came on, they go, well, what's the big deal? We're all working from home anyway. What's the thing? So we just got to position it right. And again, let's use the word empathy again. Some people are in a very different boat. You know, people like you and I, we've got families, we've got kids, we've got reasonably okay houses where we're quite happy to work from our dining rooms or our spare rooms or an office space, that sort of thing. And we've got a garden. You know, I know people who've got, there's 4 of them sharing a 2-bedroom flat together, sort of stuff. You know, imagine 4 people trying to do on Zoom calls to clients and doing sales calls. It's just not going to work. And then, you know, the youngsters, they want to go back into town. They want to finish work and go and have a few beers afterwards and socialize. Of course you do. So it's different strokes for different folk. And for me, the hybrid solution is right. It creates flexibility. I think the only thing I would say to that is I like the idea of people earning flexibility, earning hybrid. So if you come in and do a good job and demonstrate you want to put the effort in, put the shift in, and put the mindset in, then you can earn the ability to have flexibility. If you don't want to do that, then I can't really trust you anyway. So it's not really going to probably work. So for me, give people the choice, let them earn that choice. And then what's not to like about it? We're going to move into a new world now where people are going to be spending more time doing the things they love to do with their family, their kids, sitting in the garden, doing a Zoom call. What's not to love about that?
Yeah, the productivity gains that will come from that, if it's done right, will be tremendous.
If it's done right.
Absenteeism down, all of that sort of stuff. No doubt about it. Yeah, the one big concern I have about the remote piece in recruitment in particular is I know during the first sort of 12 to 18 months of my recruitment career, I received some amazing on-the-job interventions.
Yep.
Whereby somebody who was a big biller in the team would hear me saying something stupid and would run over, go, hey, mate, what you said there caused this kind of reaction. What you need to do is rephrase it this way next time. And that on-the-job coaching for me from experienced people was so powerful. The traveling out to client meetings together with the boss, that was super powerful as well. Yep. And it's just working out, and I'm sure we will, it's just working out how we weave in those little bits of one-on-one coaching and magic, because they really compound over time, I think.
Massively. But again, what everyone's forgetting at the moment is technology is catching up with this. So, there's systems out there. We've been looking at some tech platforms where I can literally have you in a box on the corner. I can tap on my little window here and it will tap on your shoulder in essence, and we can have a chat sort of thing. So I can listen into your calls, etc. That's new. That's quite raw and crude coming through, but it's awesome, right? And technology is still trying to play catch up with this whole process, and it will catch up. So we're still trying to we're still doing Zoom calls. People are still trying to work out how to unmute themselves, right? Their laptop is looking up at their chin or up their nose still. This is after 18 months of doing this. It's bizarre. Yeah. So people will get it and they'll work it out and they'll figure it out better, and technology will enable that to happen a lot better. So when that happens, I think we can embrace it a lot more. You're absolutely right though. I'm not going to learn on my own sitting in the bedroom here just figuring it out. I need people around me to be able to do so. I need coaches and feedback.
100% right. Brilliant. Love that. Let's finish on a positive note. What are you excited about at the moment?
Oh my word, what am I excited about? I'm excited about investment into the future. I'm very excited about where our business has got to. TRN's had a great year for the last sort of 12 to 18 months in particular. I think we've done a good job not being arrogant. I think I've got an amazing team around me, so that really excites me. I think that's created a really interesting platform for where we could take what we're trying to do, and we've got some really wonderful things that we're going to be launching quite soon. So what am I excited about? I'm excited about the world going into a new normality. I don't care what the normality is as long as it's right for you. I'm excited about the fact that people are starting to come out of what's been a very, very tough time for them. I think there's still a long way to go yet with this, but I think we're starting to see the other side of it now, which is good. So we can start planning a lot more and being more optimistic. I'm excited about the economy and how robust our economy has actually been over this period, how strong and resilient it actually is, which is good. And you can talk to the economists and they'll tell you all sorts of different stories. But the reality is it's been strong and remains strong in most areas. And I'm excited actually about the new habits and skills that people have learned over this period. Now, I have a lot of conversations. I've got 2 kids. I have a lot of conversations with people about how tough it's been for the children, and and it has been, right. I've got my son's, in his first year at secondary school and doesn't really know half his mates properly because it's been so disjointed. But on the other side of it, let's put our optimistic hats on. What has happened? Well, he's learned about resilience. He's learned about self-management, some of these really core skills that many people never had before. So I'm actually excited about the fact that we've built new habits and skills that if we start utilizing those in the future, we can do so much more. So, I look at everything as I'm definitely a cup is not even half full. It's pretty much full to the brim pretty much most of the time, sort of stuff. And you can spill a bit every now and then. But the reality is, lots of good things have come out of this. A lot of bad things come out of it. I'm not going to ignore the bad stuff, but I'm going to sort of empathize with it and then move on. But I'm going to focus my time and attention on the good skills, the good habits, the good relationships that are coming out of it, and actually the opportunity to invest in a more exciting future. And I think that really, really gets me excited.
What an awesome message. And at a business level, tell us a bit more about TRN and what your next plans are for what you're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, we're a community, a network of advisors in essence, and and we use peer-to-peer advisory support. So we get people together and we help each other. COVID has really tested our ability to do that. As a non-exec director, which I sit on a few boards as a company owner, as a non-NED, it's very easy to be an advisor when the markets are really good. Because I just say, hey, Andy, just carry on doing what you did yesterday and you'll make more money tomorrow. Oh, that's great. Thanks, James. But actually, over the last 18 months, we've had to show up, and I think this. We actually offered our services for free for half of last year because we really wanted to demonstrate we're out to help people. That's what advisors do. I was very proud about that. Our team were willing to do that. And so I thank them for that. But the reality is that we've demonstrated as an advisory business that it works. Our community works, our network works, which is great. So now it's all about two things, really. It's about expanding the network. So more people in the UK, more people globally. We've got big plans around that. And then the second thing is adding even more value to our members every day. And one thing you've got to remember is the challenges of a recruitment business owner change every week, every month. They're different. So what the challenges are now are very different from what they were 12 months ago. 12 months ago, we're talking about how the hell do I go and find some business and new jobs to work on. Now it's like, I've got too many jobs to work on. How do I find candidates? And so it goes on. So, for us now, it's about changing the language and the terminology and the focus to ensure that our members who are now having incredibly successful months and quarters at the moment can embrace this and utilize it as a platform and a springboard to get to that next stage of growth for them. So that's what we do. It's pretty simple. That we're launching some really fascinating new technology, which I'm really excited about. We've got some big global plans, which is great. We've added to our team. We've recruited a load of more people for the business, and we've got some more to come in. So it's more of the same, but just in a different way, I suppose. And that's it for us.
Super exciting. Love all that. And for anyone who's listening, if they want to check out the TRN, where should they go?
Very simple. Go to therecruitmentnetwork.com, all one word. You can go in there. You can log in for free. You can join the network for free. There's a lot of free stuff in there to help yourself with all sorts of different types of things. And that's it. Just come and hang out with us. We'd love to show you what we do.
You definitely should. If you're running a recruitment business and you're listening to this, you definitely should. I was a member a couple of years ago and took a hell of a lot from it. No doubt about that at all. So go and check out that. Follow James if you're not already on LinkedIn as well, because he does get involved with some great content. And just thanks again for coming on today. It's been great to catch up.
No, really, really great to see you. And thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for your time. Cheers.
Thanks, Andy.
You've been listening to the Career Jump podcast with Andrew MacAskill. For more resources and information, just head over to the Career Jump website at www.execcareerjump.com to supercharge your job search and start making moves. Let's get to work.